All right. It says I'm live. Because it says I'm live for about the last 35 seconds, but the way this works, I have to wait for it to catch up. So now I'm going to just wait for anybody who wants to join in. And again, there's a bit of a lag, so hopefully this goes smooth. I'll just sit here and look dumb until other people start showing up so I know that I'm being received. It is that time for Monday Night Chat. And as you can tell by the headline, I hope you can tell, I wanted to talk about a trip I just took to Colorado. Me and my wife and some friends of ours. Hey, once upon a time. Glad you're here. It was an interesting trip. And never been to out west or Colorado when it's actually wintertime. So that was a good experience. As I've said before, I grew up north, so snow doesn't really bother me. I just don't prefer to be in it if I don't have a choice. But in this case, it was a good choice. We got to go and hang out and do some things together. So, see if anybody else is coming along for the ride. It says I have 3 viewers, at least 3 active viewers. If I go up to this corner, it says 11. And I don't know if that means all at one time or if there were 11 total. But now it says 14. So I am getting some people on here. Actually, the chat says 14. Just want to make sure everybody can hear me. I'm waiting. That's the way it is. All right. Hey from Oklahoma, or hey Brandon. Sean, I already went to Colorado. I went this past weekend. Thanks once upon a time. Appreciate it. No, it was this past weekend we went to Colorado. We were invited along for a trip. A friend of mine is a Mac Tools distributor over in Alabama, and they do a tool show every year. And this year they went to Colorado, and I think it was Grayson Lodge or something, some giant hotel convention place, massive, just incredibly huge. And so we went there and hung out. Hey, Faraway, or far away. I never know which way to say that. The 2 R's throw me. So I'll just say far away. All right, Sean, great, thanks. But anyway, there was a Mac Tools show, and my buddy thought maybe I could go out and do some filming and, make a video or something to show some of the tools and products and stuff that they were having on display. Now, granted, this is a closed event. Like, it's meant for Mac Tools people, and they can bring guests. And he had asked some, I don't know, regional manager or some district manager, I don't know, asked, somebody in charge, or at least locally to him in charge, if I could do this filming. And yeah. All right, far away. Hey, King Custom, glad you're here. Yeah, Sean, I didn't really have time to visit. I was only there for the weekend. But anyway, so I took some cameras with me, and hopeful that I could do some filming, because I thought it would be kind of interesting to show maybe some tools that might interest people that, you're not going to find at Harbor Freight or, Sears or Lowe's or Home Depot. I mean, they make good tools. We all know that. Oh, hey Andrew, glad you're here. But anyway, so I took my stuff and had my Joe Daddy shirt on and my Joe Daddy's hat, and we asked some other people, and they were hesitant to let me record. And then an announcement was made that says nobody can record anything for YouTube over the PA system, which I found disappointing. I was hoping I could share some information with some people, but they were worried about, I don't know, maybe the possibility of revealing some pricing and different things. It doesn't matter. But this was set up for distributors to come in and make orders, really, so they could order toolboxes or tool sets or whatever they wanted to stock their trucks. And however they do this, they get some sort of a discount at the show. And I understand that, I understand the logic behind it. But there were some cool stuff there that I couldn't show. One of the cool things was a product called RBRT. If you haven't heard of that, I was pretty impressed by the product. And RBRT stands for Rounded Bolt Removal Tool. And it's a system that somebody developed. Hey, Andy. Somebody within Mac developed, I think it was one of the distributors possibly, had designed this tool system to remove bolts that were rounded off, or even they make it so that you can remove like Allen head bolts and stuff like that, or Torx that are rounded out. And it was a very cool demonstration. I wish I could have filmed it, because when they were doing that product display as a a demonstration for the tool guys themselves, it would be a great display to show for the end user. Very, very cool. Yeah, King Custom. Oh, yep. Of my cars, my specific cars, I may do that. Hey, Jack. Yeah, you saw that hat, huh? Anyway, so they wouldn't let me film stuff. And then as the next day or whatever, I was sitting at a table with some, they weren't the distributor guys, they were like the next level or so up. And they were talking about a torque wrench that sounded pretty cool was coming out. And it's a torque wrench that connects to Bluetooth. And you think, wait a minute, what? Why would you do that? But in the way they described it to me, I didn't see it in action, but the way they described it, you can connect it to your phone. And when you're using the torque wrench, we're used to a good torque wrench having a nice solid click. Well, there's some discrepancy or some debate over whether your 70 foot-pounds is really 70, or if when you hit that click, if it really makes it 71 or 72. I don't think that's that critical, in my opinion, but I could be wrong. I think the manufacturers have a tolerance in there. When they say 70, they give you literally, there's a plus or minus pretty much with anything. But they designed this torque wrench that you can connect to your phone, and you can actually see the torque increase on a meter. And then you could stop. It would do a vibration, I think, in the handle whenever you were at the proper torque. I don't think there was an actual click. So by looking at the phone, you could zero it in to exactly that number. And then you could actually program it. So let's say you were building an engine and you were torquing all the, let's just say, bearing caps on a crankshaft. You could program your phone and say, boop, boop, this is what I'm doing. And then once you hit the button and finish, you could hit the next button that would be torque the head bolts, so you could, or, your connecting rods, whatever. So you could have it all programmed into your phone, so you weren't having to go research this or look it up, like if you're building in, production type of process. So I thought that was pretty cool. And again, one of the guys at the table was like, it'd be really cool if somebody would make a video to show this product. And I looked at him, I said, if only there were some media people here that could help with that. and that didn't matter. They are, they kind of wanted somebody to make some sort of, film or footage or whatever, but then they didn't. So I just said, okay, I'm just going to look around. Hey, Dave. Yeah, one eye on me, one eye on Daytona. Yeah, I haven't really kept up with NASCAR much in the last 5 or 6 years or more, but I did watch some of the truck race or demolition derby that they had, and then the Busch demolition derby that they had, and it seems like if you could get your car to make it to the end, you could be in the top 10. But there was a lot of crashing going on, which makes it entertaining. It sure beats having the pit stop stuff they do, whatever now, where they race so many laps, then stop and take a break or something, and then go out and race some more, and then stop and take a break or whatever. I quit watching it when they started doing that stuff. I don't know. Didn't make any sense to me, but hey, they're still filling seats, so that's the way it goes. Now, the cool thing about this whole event, I say cool, it was cool to see all these tools. And it would have been really cool to be able to interact and, have some sort of film footage to show and let them, let everybody see some of the stuff that's there. But it was a lot of the basics, a lot of basic tools. Hey, Nick. And they happen to have, I should do a video of my tools. Yeah, I mean, I have done some videos of my tools, but yeah, that would have been funny. I probably could have used my little Osmo pocket camera, the little handheld, tiny little gizmo that I bought. Hey, Donnie. It's just me. Should have stopped by here. Pre-World War II restoration shop, Clayton Restorations. Well, yeah. I guess I missed that opportunity. Yeah, I could have snuck in my little camera, Osmo Pocket. I could have had it mounted up here, but I really kind of wanted to do it and show their products and tools. I thought it would be really cool. Oh, by the way, I'm glad David and Cheryl Barch are here, because David and Cheryl sent me a bell. So now I'm set. So they get the first ring of the bell. And I've talked about it in the previous lives that if somebody makes a good point or something like that, or if I make a good point, I'll do the bell. So David and Cheryl, you just got the first official ring of the bell. Let's see. Once upon a time, I used to use a sealant called Sikaflex. Brilliant stuff. Would be ideal for sealing seams on cars. It used to be 221 sealant and 225 sealant glue. It would stick to aluminum, wood, steel, etc. Sounds interesting. Yeah, I'm glad. I mean, that's all right. I'm glad you shared that. That's so cool. That's cool. But at this tool event, they had all kinds of stuff there, as far as tools and equipment and displays and different things. And they also had trucks there. There was a brand new, I guess it was a Freightliner, like a semi-truck, but with a box on the back that had just been built for one of the distributors to use. And they had, I think there were 2 trucks there on display. Oh, and they also had, if you ever have seen it, I didn't post any pictures of it, but they had that, I guess I don't know what you'd call it, the airplane truck. You ever see that one where they have the radial engine in the truck? It's like let me see if I have a picture of it. I can't say that I'm really a fan of it. I think it's pretty cool from an art standpoint, but from a practical standpoint, probably not that great, in my opinion. That's this truck right here, and it's got a airplane radial engine in it. I don't know if you've seen that. It's been around, but there's the engine. It was a really crazy design. I forget what name. Made by Covercraft. I don't know. Phillips 66 has her name on it, and I think it's a 39 Plymouth. Yeah, it says Plymouth Radial Truck is what it says on the name. There it is. That kind of zoomed in. But anyway, that was on display. And then over on the side, they had, there you go. Yeah, cool truck. It is a cool truck. I will say that. The craftsmanship on it is really cool. It's a bare metal type truck. They've got the interior that looks like an airplane, all these cool airplane accessories. But I've seen the thing run, and I wouldn't even want to drive it. Honestly, it's got that giant, big radial engine in it, and it's just more for show than anything else. But it's still cool. It's from an art standpoint and hands-on builder standpoint. It's really pretty cool. Hey, Heath. Yep, Dave and Cheryl. So at this event, hey, Gary. As I'm, we're looking at different products and stuff. My buddy he looked at his schedule and he said, "Hey, guess who's over in the corner at the autograph place?" And he said, "Chip Foose." I was like, "Chip Foose is here?" So I walked over there, and they had, I thought there would be a line. Chip Foose. But apparently he's got his hands deep in with Mac, you know, so they bring him to these events. Well, they had, and I'll show you these in just a second. They had Chip Foose there, but to get to Chip, you had to go through 3 other guys. Well, I looked at the 3 other guys, and I was like, I don't know who that is. I don't know who they are. So the first guy was, I guess, J.R. Todd. I don't really keep up with drag racing very much. But J.R. Todd, and you see it's got Kalitta up here at the top, Kalitta Motorsports. So he must drive for Kalitta, right? Team Kalitta. So J.R. Todd had his, he handed me his autograph, or, his little thing. And honestly, I didn't even look at the guy. I don't know what he looks like, but he gave me that. So then the next guy in line is a Top Fuel guy. And I guess it's Sean Langdon, right? So he hands me this. And again, I'm sorry, I didn't even look at the guy. I just I wasn't worried about these guys at all. So then, I go through the line, and again, they're all just sitting at a table. And I go to the next guy, and I'm not really looking at who he is either. But you probably heard of this guy. So Doug Kalitta, right? He hands me this, and I didn't even notice. Now, this is how focused I am on Chip Foose. I didn't even notice that he put my name on it and then signed it. He hands it to me, and I'm like, oh, thanks. So then I go over to the man, Chip Foose, and I talked to him briefly. He didn't. I wasn't there to waste his time or tried to really take up his time, but whatever. But there's nobody else in line, and so I just briefly told him I admired his work, and he signed this, so you can read that. Of course, he always says "Build your dream." I know that. So anyway, I have this autographed Chip Foose Mac Tools card. But then I said, hey, can you sign my hat? And he said, sure. So I have Chip Foose signed on my hat. Now, I may not wear this hat very much longer. This is probably going to have to go somewhere. I don't know. Big fan, so I may have to set that aside. But anyway, I asked him, I said, you mind if we take a picture? And he said, yeah, sure. So I'm pulling up my camera phone, and I don't know the other guys very, I wouldn't recognize them in a police lineup. But Doug Kalitta, he says, you want me to take the picture for you? I'm like, yeah, sure. I'm just looking at him just like he's somebody, I don't even know. So Doug Kalitta snapped some pictures of me and Chip. And so I posted that on Instagram, and a buddy of mine who's a big time, racer guy, he knows stuff. He's like, I don't know what's more cool, the fact that you got a picture with Chip Foose, or you had Doug Kalitta take the picture for you. So I thought that was pretty funny. So again, there's I showed this earlier on the community page. Me and Chip there hanging out, being bros. Yeah, he doesn't know who I am. He's not worried about me, and that's okay. I got to meet Chip Foose. That's all that matters, and that made the whole trip worthwhile. That was a good time. Let's see. Hope you have your card. Oh, what? Oh yeah, I don't have a card. Once upon a time, I don't have a card. Never have, but I need to get one apparently, because I learned that at SEMA that I need to have a card to give to people whenever I'm doing some filming. I guess they want to see that. Oh, and by the way, I don't know if you remember the video I did at SEMA on that Bronco that the guys had built out of a 2019 F-250 or something. I ended up getting tagged on Instagram. Those guys were real happy that I did that video. So I was surprised that they found it or whatever. But so they, I mean, anyway, I got a ding from those guys. So, um, Carter went by his shop one time and they were painting an Aston Martin DBS and actually asked my opinion on the paint sticks. Really cool. That is cool. I mean, you got. I mean, I don't know many people that have a negative opinion of Chip Foose because he's amazing. He's an artist. He can draw just about anything, automotive related at least. He can envision, a car the way it should look, and then he can put his hands on it and make it happen. So, really impressed by that guy. And I mean, I would have liked to spend more time with him and go had a beer or something. Would have been nice, but that didn't happen. And then the next, I think it was that evening. Let's see, that was that same evening Friday. Mac Tools had a big dinner, and so we went to that. And they'd have an award ceremony that they give to salesmen or distributors or whatever, and that was pretty cool. Then they had a live band, and it was a good time. I mean, it was really neat, and in a way, it's nothing like SEMA. SEMA is just mind-blowingly huge. This was the tool section and all that was kept in a hall, whatever. So it wasn't that all over the place, but they did have like breakout areas where you could learn about a tool separately, well, like a diagnostic tool or whatever. So that was, well, I didn't go to any of that because I'm not part of that, but I know my buddy did, and it was interesting to see. And I don't know, we may do it again next year. I don't know yet. Haven't gotten that far. So hopefully if it goes into next year, maybe they can allow me to do some video. Maybe. I don't know. It'd be nice. I think it would help. It would benefit people. Once upon a time in UK, some of us know who Chip Foose is. Cool, good on you, Barry. He's done some really good looking cars. Yeah, he does. Yeah, David, Cheryl. I didn't even have any stickers with me, honestly. I didn't think about it, and I was just kind of overwhelmed, honestly. I was like, "Oh, it's Chip Foose. It's Chip Foose." But it was a good time. So then on let's see, what Saturday we did something that I haven't done in years. I mean, since I was probably a teenager, more than likely. My wife and I and our friends, we went to a snowmobile place, and we rode snowmobiles for a couple hours, and that was fun. It was, the only sketchy part was, the weather got rough on us. Like, it was bright night, it was sunny, clear, but all snow, of course. And I'd rented a car, and I'm not sure why, but apparently they don't put snow tires on rental cars out there. I grew up in Pennsylvania, and we put snow tires on every winter. It was just kind of what you did. But I rented this Chevy Malibu, and we needed to drive up into the mountains to go to this snowmobile thing. And on the way up, it was cool, no problem. But you get there, and it's just like a snowy road you got to drive onto. Okay, so I drove back in there, and the more I drove back in and kind of hilly and stuff, I was like, this could be sketchy getting back out. Well, the weather turned on us, and snow was blowing, and I was like, oh, great. I just got to get on the road and get out of there, which I did. So it was a little touchy, but managed to get out and get on the road and get back, safely. So, but the trip was really cool. And hey, Dave. King Custom. I've seen Dave Kindig. I've not talked to him, but I saw him at SEMA and his cars. I did a little video on his cars at SEMA. Pretty cool guy. His product line, what he does and how he does it, pretty cool stuff. So I like Dave as well. Anyway, we'd done the snowmobile excursion, And if you're interested, if you're not, that's fine too. But if you want to just see what it's like, I have it on my other channel on Joe Daddy's Workshop. I put like an 18-minute video showing us riding snowmobiles. I think I had my GoPro either shut off on me, or I must have, maybe I turned it off. I don't know, but I had probably an hour and a half of footage. But towards the end, they had an area that was almost like a big open field, not a lake, not a frozen lake, but it was a big flat area that they would let you go out and kind of go fast. And unfortunately, that's the part I didn't get on film. But I got all the other stuff going through the trees and different stuff. It was really cool. Haven't done that in a long time. And the place at I forget what Bird's Eye Tour, and they give you ski suit, like over coveralls, winter coveralls, a helmet, and boots. But you have to bring your own. You can rent goggles, but you have to have your own gloves and other stuff. But really cool. Hey, John, glad you're here. Yeah, once upon a time it was sad what happened with Boyd's, but I have to agree with you. I was trying to think what else was there that was. Oh, and if you ever go out to, maybe I shouldn't even mention this, but if you go out to Colorado, out to Denver, a buddy of mine, Terry, he was going to have dinner with us, but then he had something else come up and he couldn't make dinner. But he told us to go to a place called Mickey's Top Sirloin. I give them a shout out. Mickey's Top Sirloin in Denver area, whatever. Really good food. Hey, Leonard. Really good food, and I mean good steaks. They were like steaks for. I had a top sirloin that was like that thick. Fantastic. Everybody was happy with the food. Dinner rolls, all that cool stuff you get with and they also had like Italian. They had like Italian food and something else, but the steaks are what you go for, from what I understand. And so Terry was right. He said go to this place, and it was a good time. That's one. I'm glad Leonard's here. I wanted to mention I had boxed up some hats. I thought I was going to mail them out today, since I got back in last night from our trip. I was going to mail them out today. However, it's apparently President's Day. I forgot. So I'd gone to the post office and I was going to use a self-service thing, but the bin that you put all the boxes in, whatever, was full. So I said, okay, I'll have to mail them out tomorrow. So just so you know, the hats that have been ordered are going out tomorrow, and just to let you know, since Leonard's here, I know Leonard paid for a hat. So King Custom, you should do a video of your tools. Yeah, I think you might have mentioned that once, and it's hard to say which tools. I mean, I have a lot of tools in here. I mean, anybody, I wouldn't tool. King Custom, you're having trouble again. You're having trouble. You got fat fingers like me, fat thumbs. Now you got tools. Yeah, yeah. I could do a video on. I mean, I've done videos on certain tools. I think if you go to my playlist, I actually have certain tools listed in there. I have my throatless shear. I know I did a video on. I think the plasma cutter. I don't know if I have one specifically on the welder. All tools. Okay. Yeah, that could be a big video, because I have, like, if you look back there, that big red toolbox, I mean, that's packed full. I've got another toolbox over that way that's packed full. I've got another toolbox in the back that's packed full. And but yeah, if you look at, I think on my playlist, I have some tools that I've used, and you can check those out. Yeah, Mac, they do have some nice toolboxes. I got to see some really, really nice toolboxes this weekend. Really nice. Gosh, I mean, like the $10,000 toolboxes, which I'll never have, but really, really cool toolboxes. Um, let's see. Transfer punches is one to do. I'm familiar with the term, but I don't know if I have any of those, Leonard. Transfer punch. Yeah, I don't think I have anything. Yeah, yeah. There's you can't have enough tools. I've said it before. Um, yeah, John. Actually, I probably have met a tool I didn't like. I know I think I've at some point, I forget what it was. I think I had some tool fail me so bad that I took the plasma cutter and cut it up into pieces. But hey, that's what plasma cutters are for, right? You can do it. You can cut up anything with them. In fact, there was um, I did a video on the other channel last a month or so ago where I cut up took my plasma cutter and destroyed hard drives and old computers. Just something to do, give me a chance to play with the plasma cutter. But it really destroyed those hard drives, which is pretty cool. Robert Adams, I tend to spend more on tools than materials. Yeah, I guess it depends on where you're at in the process. I know that I haven't. Yeah, he who dies with the most tools wins. Yeah. um, let's see. Yeah, Robert was talking about spends more on tools and materials, but over the lifetime of tool purchases, that may be a possibility. But I know for me, I'm pretty set up with everything I need, at this point. So now it's become more about the material stuff. King Custom, how many cars do you have? Well, how many do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I have 8. 68 Mustang in the back, Jade. I've got a 68 Camaro that's the basket case, which everybody's been asking about, which is sitting outside under a tarp. My grandfather's 31 Model A, 65 Mustang Coupe in the garage that I call the Stray Pony, which nobody has seen a full video on that car yet. My 68 GMC that I built, my Suburban, my wife's van, and my little Ford Escort beater car that I have. So if that's 8, that's 8. Oh, I forgot. And the dune buggy. My orange classic vintage dune buggy, which nobody's seen in a while. But I still have it. How do you keep an old small block Ford from overheating in the summer? That's a very good question. That's a very tough question. That is an ongoing problem for any small block Ford. Some people have tried fatter radiators, getting more cooling. Some have tried, electric fans, and some get it right. Some the magic works. From my understanding is most people have said the closer you can get a fan to the radiator, the better off you are. So think about that. Really close draws more air. But otherwise, aluminum radiator, and just make sure that the air is ducting into the radiator itself from the front through the grill. I've seen guys take and make a custom scoop behind the valance panel or as part of the valance panel to scoop air up into the radiator. You just have to, it's almost hit and miss, but feel free to ask questions out there to people and look at websites, because what may work, it seems like what may work for one does not work for the other. But sorry, can't do much more to help you with that. Leonard, my 2 Snap-on boxes cost as much as my 79 Ranchero did. Yeah, I believe that. Let's see. Rob, checking in from the Jersey Shore. Hey, glad you're here, Rob. John, excellent. I get a thumbs up there. Don't forget, guys, throw a thumbs up on the page. That helps. Robert Adams, I tend to buy too many tools that I want instead of need. I don't need a metal brake, but I want one. Me too. I want a metal brake. Actually, I bought one of those little benchtop brakes from Harbor Freight. It's still in the box, but it was on sale. That's why I bought it. You know, it was like a discount, huge discount, like half price. So I bought it. It's sitting in a box. That's how it goes. You know, sometimes you can't pass up on certain things. David and Cheryl, what Lincoln MIG welder do you use? Looking to get one soon for 64.5 convertible restoring. That I use is a Lincoln 140T is what I'm currently using. It does fine. I have no issues with it. I know in that last video where I welded on that bracket on the Brooklyn Pony, I think that was more of either a problem with the weld through primer or something. That was not the welder's issue. It was beyond that. But Lincoln 140T is what I'm using. But I will say, you don't necessarily have to get one like that. You know, I've heard really good things, and I have a Vulcan TIG welder that I bought from Harbor Freight that I have no doubt is going to serve me well. So if you're considering a Harbor Freight product as well, get the better brand. Don't go to Chicago Electric. Get the Vulcan. I think is a pretty good brand. I've heard good things about them. So do a little research if you want to look that over. But otherwise, I'm using this Lincoln 140T. Let's see, Danny, since I've started on my car, I'm running out of room for tools I had to buy. Yeah. Hey, but you could be like Christian over in Romania. If you saw that video 2 weeks ago, Viewers Projects, he's in a space this big and his car is just sitting inside it. He's doing a lot with the little bit of space he has, so got to get creative with how you store things. King Custom, I have an old Ford truck and a Chevy truck. That's cool. Nothing wrong with having one of each. Jack, Barry should do welding instructional video. Yeah, I've thought about that. I've done some, you know, there are channels out there that are dedicated to welding videos. So I can't say that I shouldn't. I can't say that it's not a bad idea. I think it's probably a good idea and something I may consider down the road. I don't know just yet, but I'm sure it would benefit people to see some of those. Tim Bowman, shrouds are the most important thing on cooling. Yeah, see, Tim, you get a bell for that. So, you know, the question was about cooling off small block Ford, shrouds, airflow, anything to get the air through that radiator is going to help, and then also the shroud is going to help draw it through. So, good point, Tim. Once upon a time. All right. Ta-ta for now, Barry. We'll see you, man. Glad you were here. I've been trying to do this. You know, I know it's tough because 7 o'clock in the U.S. is obviously a whole different time over in Europe. So it's kind of hard to find that middle ground. Let's see. BK Woods. Have you seen the new Harbor Freight Icon line? I grabbed a couple ratchets. Really nice. Yeah. I have seen them. I looked at the Icon wrenches when I was in there one day, and I just said, that's just Snap-on. I mean, it's a direct copy of Snap-on. Even the script looked very similar. So, yeah, if I needed them, I'd probably go buy some more. But I have Snap-on wrenches in my drawer over there, and I've got some generic metric tools and stuff like that. But unless I just have to, I'm not going to go out and buy more of those. But if I were looking to put tools in a new, you know, if I was just starting out, I'd go buy those. I really would. All right, King Custom, cool. It's always nice to have more channels out there. Let's see. Oh, okay, yeah, Danny, you saw the Christian car. Yep. Yeah, he's doing a lot. I'm really impressed by what he's doing. In fact, that he's doing it, like I said, in a country we don't expect to see a Mustang. Period. But he's doing a great job with that. John, keep up great work and love your channel. Tons of knowledge. Yep. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. um, one thing I noticed whenever I was okay, David, Cheryl, cool. Um, when I was out in Colorado, I don't know if you ever, whenever somebody says Colorado, what's the first thing you think of? The Rocky Mountains, right? Well, if you ever fly into Denver, depending on what side of the plane you're on, you're going to look out and go, where's the mountain? There's nothing out here. It's flat. It is, and Denver, it may be a mile high, from sea level, but it's flat as a board. I mean, just, and then all of a sudden, flat, 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 there's the Rocky Mountains. So whenever when you get out there, like I said, you're looking around, you're thinking, am I in the right place? But it's amazing. And everything feels spread out. So if you've never been out there, you like land at the airport, and unless somebody's going to come pick you up, you have to, go rent a car or something. You have to get on a bus and ride the bus to on this long road where all the rental car places are set up on this long road. So, if just to give you some insight into flying into Denver, and it's I'm trying to remember how the layout was, because you Doc, DC Rock, Colorado equals weed, yeah. It also was very confusing when you got off the plane, because you would go to where it said baggage claim, and it would, you head towards a center thing, and it would say baggage claim this way, baggage claim this way, baggage claim this way. It's like, well, where do I go? How do I know which one is mine? And it was just taking you, I don't know, it was really weird, but we managed to figure it out. But I've never seen an up escalator off of the the gateway or jetway or whatever, the long tunnel where they have all the gates, and it had an arrow pointing up and said baggage claim, and I'm thinking this doesn't make any sense, but it was still cool. Yeah, Andrew, it is really weird. You're flying into Denver and you're thinking there's got to be mountains, and there's nothing unless you look the right way. Leonard, Barry, I put a Desert Core and a 8-blade fan. It took a little power away, but it never ran hot after I put them on. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know what it is about the small block Fords that have to have like extra cooling. I don't know, because if it's because the sequence of the ports, like Chevy has their what is it? The exhaust ports are on the ends and 2 overlapped in the middle. But I think, Ford is 1, 2, 3, 4 down the line. So and I don't know if that causes some heat issues, I don't know. But it's weird that little, I say little engine, they're not that big, that they have, overheating issues all the time. Robert Adams, the better half, complains about Denver layovers, long ride to the hotel. Yeah. I mean, it's weird. But I guess because it's such a giant flat space, they just spread everything out. And you'll drive along and you'll be, we went to a place called the Beer Garden, and near this Gaylord, whatever Grand Hotel place we were at. And we were driving through all kinds of like subdivisions to get to this place. And then we get there and it's like just a restaurant on a slightly raised area, let's say. And, it was a restaurant that served a lot of beer, different beer. But it was just really weird driving to that location. So, and it's nothing like, if you ever flew into Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh has like a central hub, and then I think 4 legs that all join together in the center. and then you go down to the tram or train, and that takes you one shot. It goes one direction and one back, and that's it. And anyway, it just seems more convenient. But whenever you drive around the Pittsburgh area, it's, I mean, it's just all over the place with the roads, bridges and roads and tunnels and all kinds of stuff. But Denver, no, it's just all flat and like grid work, all spread out all over the place. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Gary, yes. Carry on is the best way to go. That's true. For me, that would work. My better half, she has to take some extra stuff with her. So we'd like go ahead and check the bags, and it just makes it easier. It's just I've learned over years of flying places that she needs her stuff, she gets her stuff. King Custom, how did you get so many subscribers on YouTube? Well, I've been doing this for 10 years, and I don't have that many. In that grand scheme of things, I don't have that many subscribers. If you compare other people there's other people who have channels who have been around for a year, and they have 100,000 subscribers. So I'm really behind the curve on that learning process. But just keep putting out videos and make sure they're good videos. Make sure they're clean videos. Make sure you get your points across so people understand what you're trying to show and why. But that'll help with hopefully help with the channel. Robert, rarely had overheating issues with small block Chevy, but the Fords are another animal altogether. Lots of airflow and big radiators. A big block Chevy can be cooled easily with a radiator that won't cool a Ford. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. And I think it's because of the sequential ports. Because like I said, the Chevy exhaust, they're front and rear, and then they have two in the center, and then the Siamese intake ports. Whereas the Ford, it's all boom, 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 boom. So I don't know if that, I don't know, but they are really tough to get to keep cool. Leonard, mine takes the house with her. Mine's not that bad. I'll say that. She's not that bad. But I do know people that do take half the house with them for an overnight excursion. Not at my house, though. I'm thankful. My wife, she does pretty good with what she needs and takes with her. So I'll give her credit for that. Yeah, King Custom. It's, when I first started the channel, and I've mentioned this before, I was trying to promote our body shop that we had and showing repair work that we were doing at the shop, and hopefully getting people interested to bring us their projects or their cars or whatever. So that was how the channel started out, and it progressed from there into some kind of more showing how the end result was, let's say, instead of the way I do it now, where I try to explain things and show the process. Before, I was kind of showing, I'm going to change this alternator, I'm going to take this bolt out, put this alternator back in, and be done, and whatever. But whereas now I try to show the actual work as much as I can, and that seems to be the real ticket to helping or getting people interested in watching the videos. Good information and good presentation. You see these back behind me, lighting. Make sure you have good lighting, good camera, and just make sure you do a good job. I don't know I haven't seen your videos, so I don't know how you do them or what you do, but they need to be something that people are interested in and want to learn from. So just my opinion. Robert Adams, another cooling issue is with vertical tank radiators have to run a lower PSI cap with the cross flow, so the boiling point is lower on the vertical tank. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't really I've got the engine in my Jade Mustang, the 68, and I haven't really had it out to let it get very, very hot. You know, I think the 68, if you look at the core support is slightly different. And I think depending on the model, like my Jade Mustang had factory AC. So I think there's a metal piece that attaches beside the radiator to help deflect air into the radiator. So they knew there were some issues going on even back then, or it may have been a variation based on whether it was a big block or a small block, and that piece of metal was designed for a bigger, if you used a bigger radiator, you didn't need that piece, but if you use a smaller one, put that piece in. So anyway, Rudderify. On Ford, you can drill the block for the steam holes punched into the head gaskets. Helps keep it cool along with buying a quality intake manifold. The cheap manifolds don't have the coolant crosses. That's interesting. I guess I really haven't looked into that. So, Rudder, you get a bell. So, if you listen to what Rudder's saying there, he's talking about drilling in. You can drill the block for the steam holes punched into the head gaskets. Now, since I don't know anything about that, I have not done that. So if you're going to do that, do some research and make sure you're drilling the right holes, because you definitely don't want to do the wrong holes. But that's a good point. That may be worth looking into if you're having overheating problems. So Rudder, appreciate it. Thank you for that comment. King Custom, yeah, I'm glad you like watching my videos. I hope you're learning stuff from them. Robert was an ASE tech in the past, so yeah, too much tech info floating around in my head. Yeah, I understand that. I'm the same way with just dumb information that I have about cars. Growing up in a junkyard, I knew I had so much. I've got so much information in my head about all these cars that I grew up with, and it only manifests at certain points, and it's really hard to share that information without boring people to death sometimes. So sometimes somebody will ask me a question, even not here, but I'm like in just a private setting, and I go into this great big long blah 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 blah, blah and they kind of, whoa, you do know a lot of unimportant stuff. Let's see, Donnie. I bought the air belt sander and spare belts. What an awesome tool. I can think of 1,000 times where it would have been the perfect solution. I'm with you, Donnie. I'm with you. I'm already, glad that I bought that tool, and, wish I would have bought it sooner. If you don't know what he's talking about, I did that little Baxter belt sander deal from Harbor Freight. And speaking of which, when I was at the Mac Tools show, it wasn't a Mac Tools product. It was another product line selling the exact same sander. Exactly the same. Other than the Baxter being blue and this other one being gray. Identical. So I have no doubts that Baxter sander is going to be a great product. They've made them. Obviously, other people are selling them with their label on them, but yeah, I think it's going to continue to be a cool tool. Let's see, Sean, I've drilled the steam holes. I'm sure there's probably some information out there. I don't know if somebody's done a video on it or not. I haven't, but there may be something out there that would be great. For great information for somebody to see that being done. You're welcome, Rudder. Thank you for sharing. Seriously. Donnie, I did manage to put the spare belts away so well I can't find them, or manage to throw them away in the empty box. I will say this. Speaking of those belts, I have not used the ones that they show on Amazon yet. I don't know. You can, maybe you can help me out with that. I don't know the quality of those belts. I mentioned that whenever I posted the information, that I did not, know for sure. I know when I was at the tool show, they had those belts. They had what looked like much better belts. Now, I don't know if you can buy them off the Mack truck, whatever. But those were the more heavy duty belts that I would be looking for. Yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, rudder. You got to pick with the Kindig. Cool. That's great. Rudder, you're welcome. I mean, I still have. I know it's. I think I have it back there on my toolbox. Rudder's Garage, right? Rudder's Garage should be, because I know you were doing videos and you kind of got away for a while, but I've got Rudder's Garage and a tail rudder in my toolbox. So, David and Cheryl have been spreading the word about Joe Dad's Garage, and subscribe and thumbs up. We have learned so much watching for over 3 years now. Thank you. You get another bell for that. I appreciate that. If y'all haven't seen that, anyway, I finally got the bell, and David and Cheryl sent this to me, so very thankful for that. Appreciate it. King Custom, I think going to a shop pretty soon. Okay, so you're going to go to Kindig's Garage. Okay, so Tim, the belts on Amazon that you bought were way better quality than the Harbor Freight tool brand. Cool, that's good to know. I know, like I said, I know I posted a link, and I don't know if that's the same link of what you're referring to. So I hope it is. But if it is, let me know. I don't know if you checked into that or not, but okay, so yeah, King Custom subscribed to Rudder's channel. That's cool. Yeah, I know. I remember. Didn't you go out of you had to go out of the country or something for a while? I don't remember what the scenario was. And okay, yep, I was right. I was right. I got it right. You were out of the country. I get a bell for that. Okay. Rudder, yes, I've since retired and I'm back in the U.S. and will start making more vids soon. Of course, I'll use your vids as a guide to help me repave the quarters. Cool. Nick, Kindig is super cool dude. Filmed him last year and probably let this year a bit. Good. Yep. I'm sure that was a good experience. And if y'all haven't seen, I posted a video in my community tab 3 comments or 3 segments ago for a video on Nick Pixel TV. And I thought it was pretty cool. He made a chainsaw holder for the back of his truck. Just a really cool video. So if you haven't seen that, go check out Nick's video on that. That was pretty cool. Let's see. Okay, thanks, Tim. Yep. Yeah, and if you haven't, I mentioned before, if you've been watching my channel, I've been doing this for quite some time, and I give shout outs to other channels. And if you haven't looked at Grease Rookie's page, go check him out and subscribe to his channel. Pretty cool guy, doing some cool stuff in his home garage. 65 Mustang coupe that he's, let's see, how do I put it? Unbondoing, or he's been removing all the Bondo from. So it's a pretty cool project. It's a straight 6 car that he's just building up, by himself and kind of learn as he goes type things. And anyway, check out Grease Rookie's channel. Yeah, check out Nick's channel as well, Nick Pixel TV, and got some cool stuff on there, outdoor stuff and different things. So give that a shot. And I don't know where my buddy Tim is, but Tim has a channel called RC Guy Garage, and he does all kinds of stuff with RC trucks, and really cool videos, really cool footage. how-tos and why-tos and what not to and different things like that. So if you're into RC stuff, check out RC Guy Garage. You'll like his stuff. He's up in the Great Northeast, up in New England area. So check him out. Yeah, like I was saying earlier about being at the Mac show, I really wish they would have let me film, And they found out one of the guys come and was talking to me at the dinner, and he was one that we initially contacted to see about getting permission, and he come by and kind of apologized to me, and I was like, that's okay, I said, but any videos that I put out are going to get seen by lots and lots and lots of people. And I said, currently I have 35,000 subscribers. And if I show a video on one of your products, they may show interest in it. They may want to go buy it, So it's a win-win for everybody. And he was like, I guess I never really thought about that. I said, well, that's how this media stuff works. That's how YouTube works. Somebody shows a product or a process or a tool or whatever, and somebody else goes, it's like that belt sander I did a video on. Donnie went out and bought a belt sander based on that video, and I've had several people go out and buy those belt sanders. Now, of course, I don't get anything out of that, but from Harbor Freight. But the point being, they were not willing to go and buy that until they saw something like I did and gave a demonstration on it. So I think Mac Tools missed an opportunity to have some appeal to other people and have some video stuff out there to show their products. But maybe they'll figure it out next year, and if I go, I think next year they're doing it up in DC. So maybe if I get to go again, maybe they'll rethink their negativity. I don't know, and maybe let me do some filming, because I'm not going to talk about pricing. I'm not going to give away insider information on that. That's not why I'm there. So anyway, that's how that works. Let's see. Robert Adams, my last RC car was the original Grasshopper. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to ask what year that was. Because oh wow, something's making noise in the back of the garage. Well, I don't know what that was. Did you hear that? I don't know what that was. Yeah, the only RC vehicle I have right now is a Traxxas, whatever, and I bought it used and thought I was doing good with it, and realized that something's wrong with the transmitter, and I didn't want to play with it. So you've probably seen it in the videos. It's sitting on a transmission jack in the back of the shop. It's a blue RC vehicle. It's just sitting there. So, I kind of give up on it. Let's see. Rudder, what camera gear do you use to shoot your vids? Anything you do differently? I've had this question before, and let me just step aside for a second. The current camera that I use is this Canon Vixia HFR 800. That's what I use. This is probably 95% of the footage that I get. Just a little flip out, camera, film with this, pull out the card, do my editing. I have no complaints about this camera, but at some point I may upgrade to something that's more 4K, so even better quality. I know for the most part, what I do doesn't have to be super high end, but I know that people want to see more and more detail, and maybe it'll help if I get a better camera at some point. But at this point in time, this is all, the big bulk of my camera work. I also use a GoPro Hero 7, and there's some footage I've done at like SEMA. I use that Hero, and like the snowmobile video that I talked about that's on my other channel, the Joe Daddy's Workshop. That's a Hero 7. Although that, I don't know if that footage is, something's not quite right with that footage, and I don't know if a video gets put out and then it has to be on YouTube for a little bit to get fully processed. I don't know, because I've shot other footage with that camera and it's been crystal clear and beautiful. This one's a little bit not, but I didn't use GoPro's processing. I used my I use Wondershare Filmora as my editing program, and so I know GoPro's a little touchy. If you try to use other editing software, it tends to get a little angry with you, maybe. But anyway, but other than that, I've used my that Osmo Pocket from DJI. And I've done a video on that. It's on both channels. I think I did an unboxing video on that one, and then I did another review type video on my Joe Daddy's Workshop channel where I compared the Hero 7 to the Osmo Pocket. The Osmo is pretty cool. If you go look at the hinge video that I did for the Brooklyn Pony when I installed it, and you look at, there's a little like time lapse looking thing, that was done with the Osmo Pocket. Really cool. I like that a lot. So anyway, that's what I've been using, and that's all I can say about all that stuff. King's Custom, you use your phone. Yeah, I probably could use my phone, but I've just gotten used to using position cameras. I have a tripod right there with one that Iron Man's using at the moment. So I like to set stuff up on the tripod. It helps me with the process. Let's see. Heath Mustang, bought my lawnmower from your videos. That's cool. That's cool. I love that lawnmower. I really do. Let me give you. I get nothing out of it, but I'll give you a ding for that, because I'm glad the video was enough that you were confident with it to go buy one. Let's see, Robert Adams, the old guard toolbox companies need more promotion than they realize with all the competition now. Very, very true. You talk about it. Here I am getting nothing from Harbor Freight, and I don't care. I mean, nothing. But I give you information on it because, you, as what we refer to, or me as the end user, we need to know these things. So it's one thing to say this, this is the tool you need. Well, let me see it in action. Give me some details. I want information, not just this is the tool you need. So they're going to have to do something to help them get back on board. It's one thing. It's the only thing advantage, big time advantage, and my buddy has the advantage, and I'm happy for him, is their tool trucks show up every week. So the conflict is if you buy something online or if you buy something at the Harbor Freight store, there's no Harbor Freight truck coming to the shop next week to replace that tool. So that's one big thing that I appreciate about Mac Tools, Snap-on, and that sort of stuff. King Custom, this camera, I don't even know anymore. It was $300. I don't remember. You'd have to look it up and see what they're going for. And they get cheaper. I think I have them listed. I have that camera listed on my Amazon page. So if you go to my Amazon page, you'll find that. I have a listing of cameras and accessories. So go check that out. Leonard, my last RC was a rubber band plane. Well, that technically is not an RC, Leonard. That's one of those catch and release, or release and go catch. Technically not remote control. Robert, I don't know what word that is. I've not seen gulos. Plane didn't even have a rubber band. I don't know what I don't know what that word is, Robert. That's a new one. I don't know what that is. Thumbs up. Yeah, Nick. Thank you. Yeah, guys. Don't forget to thumbs up. It helps the channel. helps the page, helps with all that cool stuff that YouTube looks for. So don't forget to throw a thumbs up on here. Appreciate it. King Custom, how big is your garage? The main garage front section is 24 wide and 36 deep. So it's technically 900 square feet. Not huge, but it's it gets me the space that I need, at least at this point. But it's also why I typically only do one car at a time in the shop, and I don't have, I've got a little storage building out on this side of the shop, and I've got some stuff in my little utility barn where I keep my mower and stuff. Anyway, but yeah, 24 by 36. But then all the way in the back, I have a 14 by 24 paint booth area, and that's where Jade is. So if you've seen any of the Jade videos recently, quarter panel and stuff like that, that's actually the paint booth that I have back there. Yeah, Leonard. Yeah, they don't come back if it just has a rubber band pushing them. Russ Bland. I don't know what you're asking, Russ. I see it says brand name, the cheapest model. I'm not sure what your comment is, but for lunch today, Arby's. Late lunch, mid dinner, 3 in the afternoon. So I'll do a shout out for Arby's. I went to Arby's last week, and I walk in. You know how it is. You walk in there and you're thinking, what do I want? What do I want? What do I want? And so the guy running the cash register, he sees me looking. He looks at me. He says, triple cheese. I said, what? You want the triple cheese, number 14. And I looked at it. I said, what is that? He says, it's the best sandwich up there. Okay. So I ordered the triple cheese. And it was a roast beef, triple cheese on it, whatever. I don't remember what the cheeses are. And then like those little onion straws, whatever, put on top. So I went ahead and ordered it. And I got my wife her usual. And I go back to pick it up after filled up the drinks. And he said, you want any sauce? Yeah, he says, you won't need it for that sandwich. This guy's just straight-faced. And so I said, oh, okay. I said, my wife wants some, though, for her sandwich. So brought it home, ate it. It was fantastic. That was last week. So I went back this week. I walked in, same guy running the register. Looked at him. I said, triple cheese. And he said, I told you. So that may be my favorite sandwich now from Arby's is the triple cheese. All right, let's see. Yeah. Oh. Okay. I'm sorry, Russ. I didn't know what was going on there. Let's see. Yeah, it was a good lunch. So you were answering Robert. Okay. Rob Kolak. Nope, sorry, Rob. Blah, 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 blah. Rob. I'm going to have to say Kalak. I don't know. That's a tough one. And I don't even know how to say the name of that. Guilos is a brand name of balsa river powered planes. Learned something new. I may never use that bit of knowledge, but now I know. All right, King Custom. See ya. Yeah, thank you, Russ. Yep. Mike, howdy, where are you located? I am south of Atlanta, about 30 miles. So, Georgia, if that helps any. I don't know. Where I don't know what the temperature is now. It's been doing pretty good lately, but we've been getting tons of rain, which is pretty normal. And Yeah, it's currently, it says Atlanta 51 degrees, but it's all over the map temperature wise. Yeah, Rob, believe me, I have a very similar, or I have a, everybody has problems with my last name too, but we'll not get into that here. But yeah, it's tough. I mean, Kalak. Kalak. Am I saying it right? Kalak? Is it Kalak? I don't know how else you would say it. It's the only way I can see it. Um, Leonard, can I shoot you a video of the terrain roof and how to get two creases out? Yeah. Yeah, you can send me a video. We'll see what we can do. Hopefully I can help. I don't know. But we'll give it a shot. I know I've assisted other people that way, or tried to assist them that way. You know, I had what was the one? There's a another YouTuber, Cowlick. Oh, well, okay. I guess I'll have to go with that. Hey VW, glad you're here. Huh? Yeah, I would not have gotten that out of that spelling. I'm sorry, but and I'm sure that's probably. I mean, I'm going to say European, but seems like it'd be like, I don't know, Romanian or some Ukraine or something. I don't know. I'm not going to say German though. I don't think it's German. I will say my grandmother's last name was similar, and she was from Czechoslovakia. So my great grandmother, my great grandparents on that side, it's Polish. Hey, yeah. That's I can okay. I can go with that. My grandmother's last name was Kostic, and it was like Kostick, but they were Czechoslovakian. So, um, anyway, reminds me of that, but it sounded just like it was spelled Caustic. So, all right, I still can't get cowlick out of it. I don't know, something's not right. um, let's see. Paul, I'm cleaning the underside of my Mustang. What kind of paint should I use to paint the bottom? Well, that's a good question. When you say you're cleaning it, what does that mean exactly? Is it like pressure wash? Are you degreasing? Are you media blasting? You know, that covers a whole wide range of things that you could be doing. So I don't know. I'll just put it that way, because if you're taking away any kind of protectant, you're going to have to reapply that protectant. Typically, if you got, bare metal, clean bare metal, I'd come back and spray it with epoxy and then top coat that with some sort of undercoating. And undercoating can vary. You could use lizard skin, or you could use. I got somebody last week mentioned that they use some sort of a boat paint as an undercoating, because it's used for boats, and it's water resistant, saltwater resistant, chemical resistant, whatever. So they're using stuff like that to undercoat the bottom of their car because of its, how tough it is. So it's kind of hard to give an exact answer. Let's see, Leonard, what do you think about GM stopping the Holden line? I'm not overly familiar with that. I've been out of town this weekend and not really watching any of the news or anything, but I saw something on Facebook about that. So I'm not totally familiar with what's going on there. So I really can't answer. But I mean, obviously it's not a good thing if they're shutting down Holden, but I don't know enough about it to really respond to that. James Jordan, hey Barry, running late. What happened to Mustang Unlimited in Atlanta? Well, that's a good question. From what I've been told, I've got a friend who's a part shipper, and he ships to Europe. Um, he talked to somebody at one of his other suppliers who used to work for Mustangs Unlimited. And from what he gathered, Mustangs Unlimited was completely going out of business. The owner of Mustangs Unlimited did not want to sell the company or give the name to somebody else and let them run it for some reason. So he decided he's just going to shut it down. That's what I've heard. I cannot verify that 100%. That's kind of word of mouth. So from what I'm gathering, they're just going to shut down and be gone, which is a shame. And especially, that's the only one that I really could get to pretty easy for me to handpick my sheet metal. But I don't know what I'm going to do now. And I've heard there's other suppliers around the Atlanta area, but I have not looked into them very much. I've got to finish up the projects that I have before I start going any further. So for me, what I've been doing, if you've noticed, I've been ordering from CJ Pony Parts, which I need to bring up a thing about that. I said in a couple of my previous videos that I was going to do the I Did a steering column in a Brooklyn Pony. I wanted to do it with a seal that goes around the steering column. I wanted to see how all that would interact and fit. I don't have that part. Again, CJ was supposed to send it to me. They said on the 12th. Well, it's obviously not the 12th anymore, and I have not received that part. So I may just have to try to do that video without the seal and just live with it and then put it in later. I don't know. But anyway, that's where I'm at with the CJ stuff. Russ, how close to Bogart are you? Have cousin lives there, does hand paint pinstriping. I don't know where Bogart is, honestly. I'm dead straight south of Atlanta, about 30 miles. So about 20 miles south of Atlanta Airport. So I don't know where Bogart is. I'm not even sure if I've heard of Bogart. Donnie, do you see some sort of return when I buy via your Amazon account? I do. So if anybody's out there and you decide you want to buy a product on Amazon, if you go through my page, any of my links that are on my videos, I get a little bit back. Basically Amazon rewards me for getting you to go to Amazon and order stuff. So they give me just a little kickback, which is great, I guess. And I'll be honest, it's not a lot, but every little bit counts. And last year I started doing the Amazon page in June. I think it was June. And I helped them create, I don't know, like $18,000 in sales or something like that, or 20,000. I don't know what it was. Helped them get that sort of sales. My return was about $700 for the whole year for like 7 months. I got like $100 a month. So it's a little bit back. I wish the number was bigger, and I'm sure there's ways to make that bigger. Like they keep trying to get me to promote their Kindle products. I'm not here to promote Kindle products. You guys don't want a Kindle book or whatever. You want to know about tools and equipment, stuff like that. So anyway, I do get some back. Rob, okay, paint question. In your library of videos, did you ever touch on painting a car such as the Falcon where the windshield cowl is not removable? Wondering if there's a technique for dealing with that. That's a good question. I'm not familiar with the Falcon 100%, but if it's similar to, the Mustangs, the cowl isn't removable unless you drill out all the spot welds. So if the Falcon is designed similar, what I've seen people do is blast out as much as they can in that internal area, whether it's pressure washer or media or whatever, try to get everything out of the cowl, and then take pour 15 and get it in there, or an equivalent. Pour 15 does not have UV protectant, so it'll break down in the sun. Just know that. But there are other products similar that apparently do have the UV built in, so just keep that in mind. But like I did on the Jade Mustang where I did rocker panels, I put in Pour 15 and then I blew it around with a hose, an air hose, a long wand, blew it all over the place and got it all coated inside there. So you may look at that if you could get something that you could, get the paint in there and then just kind of blow it around and get it in all in the lower sections or wherever you can, make a big mess inside there so it's all covered. Just a suggestion, but that may be where you need to go, or how you need to approach it. Yeah, Robert. I keep getting emails. In fact, there's probably several on one on my phone right now. It says like giant closeout something, or I don't know. But I have not really ordered anything from them in a while now since I heard that news. Let's see. Does Year One carry any Mustang parts? I don't know. I mean, they're up north side of Atlanta too, but I don't know for sure if they do. I don't know. I know there's a guy that I'm friends with on Facebook, Ron Wolf. He's a distributor for Dynacorn, and I don't know if he will try to help you out if you're trying to order something from, like, say, a Dynacorn product. I know he can help you out a little bit with the pricing, but Ron Wolf is his name, and maybe you can kind of find him. But it's listed as Dynacorn distributor on his page or whatever. Let's see. The forum guys don't like CJ as they often backorder stuff. Well, that sucks. I'm telling you. That's why I liked having Mustangs Unlimited up the road, because I could just go and get what I needed and come home. But I don't know what else to do. There's not a lot of places that I know of right now that are, near me. I'm sure there are. I've heard of places, but I've not gone and, physically seen them. So, Leonard, the nearest Mustang parts dealer is in the LA Basin, over 100 miles west of the high desert. Oh, yeah. Or online, yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know. I'm sure there's somebody within range of me, but I'm probably still having to order stuff. Robert, my closest is Summit, which is an hour away, or the real one is 3.5 hours in Oklahoma City. I keep forgetting about that, Robert. I've got a Summit Racing in my backyard, basically. I mean, it's 40 minutes away, maybe. But I never really think about them as a part supply for Mustang stuff. I think more hot rod type of things. I know they've got a connection with, what's the name? I think they may sell some Dynacorn stuff, but I don't know for sure. They do have, what's the other name? I can't think of it. The other company that makes like Mopar stuff, Mopar and Chevy stuff. The name escapes me at the moment, but they're the ones that I used for the quarter panels on the 68 Camaro that I did several years ago. I don't know why that's skipping my mind right now. I know it's right there. Anyway, Robert, companies don't like to build warehouses in the middle of the country. Yeah, true. But Summit is expanding. Summit's getting bigger. See you, Ricky. Glad you were here. Andy, T100 LT. That's my job this week's lower cow repair of the Mustangs Spot Weld Marathon. Yeah, you're right about that. Ricky, can't stay long. I am sick with flu. Got to go to the doctor in the morning. Just wanted to listen to Barry a few minutes before I go. Yeah, maybe it'll help you sleep. Let's see, Robert. Leonard, Robert Adams, the nearest to where I live in Reno, Nevada, about 600 miles from me. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Donnie, that's 3%, give or take. Not bad at all. Keep expanding selection, and I'm likely to being the tool junkie I am. Yeah, and here's the thing. And I'll mention this because even if, let's just say you wanted to buy something from Amazon, toilet paper. Let's just say you want to buy a bulk load of toilet paper, whatever. The cool part about it is if you go through my page, if you go through one of my links on my YouTube channel, and even if you don't order the parts that I have listed or anything like that, if you decide while you're there to order your toilet paper, then I will get a little percentage of that. So just keep that in mind. All of you out there watching, just if you want to help me out, that's one way you can do it. If you're already ordering something from Amazon anyway, if you go through my link, it doesn't cost you any extra, and it gets me a little cut of the pie. So, just saying. AMD, that's the answer. Thank you, Russ. Man, not Goodmark. Used to be. Long story on AMD and Goodmark. Dave and Cheryl, going to be ordering some rage filler off your page. What harder to use? Don't remember seeing it. David and Cheryl, I'm pretty confident that when you order that filler, it should come with its own hardener. And let me point something out since you're asking. I'm pretty sure that the hardener you cannot cross over. I'm trying to remember what they said specifically, because there was something about it from one manufacturer to another. But from my understanding, it should come with its own tube of hardener. So this is the hardener that comes with the Rage. This is one I already had, but it should come with, and read through the description, but I don't see any reason why it would not come with the hardener as part of the package. Otherwise, it would make no point selling it. Let's see. James, where do you buy all your rubber seals and plugs for Mustangs? I need everything. I was buying them from Mustangs Unlimited. I was. This order right here from CJ is a trunk. I have a trunk seal in here. Pretty sure it's a trunk seal. But I have not tried it yet. So I'm kind of, there's other product lines out there, but I can't name any in particular that would be better than the other. So I used to get stuff from Mustangs Unlimited. Steel rubber. There you go. Leonard answering questions. Get a bell. Steel rubber is one of the companies that I've heard good things about. Yeah, someone sells a lot of Scott Drake Mustang parts and sheet metal. Yep. I'm glad you got a chuckle, Ricky. Get some sleep. Yeah, Russ Bland. AMD is a company that I was thinking of. I wish they made Ford parts or more. They make some Ford parts, but not a lot. Robert A. Goodmark used to be really good when it was owned by Mark, who owns AMD. Mark is how they got the name Goodmark. And long story on that. I think I've talked about it before, but basically Goodmark was expanding and growing and getting bigger and bigger. So he brought investors in to help him expand the company. Eventually the investors took over the company, kicked him out, and just started buying Taiwan stuff. They didn't care anymore. They just wanted to make money. So they took his name brand product or name brand and dropped the quality just so they could make more money off of it. That's a fact. AMD, Mark had to sign a non-compete clause or contract for a year. So he said, fine. And so he did that, and he created AMD in the meantime. And now they make what I consider probably the best parts or sheet metal parts out there. But it's bulk, Mopar and Chevy. There are a few things they do for Ford. And I've mentioned before, we helped years ago at the body shop. We helped them with taking care of a sheet metal panel that they were going to have reproduced for like a 64 Plymouth. A friend of ours had an original panel, needed a little bit of work on it. We straightened it up, and then I think they ended up manufacturing it. So, let's see. Classic Industry is a company I buy stuff from. Okay. I think I've bought stuff from them in the past, but I can't remember specifically because I've worked on a lot of stuff. Robert, NPD is generally considered to be the best supplier, but they are more expensive. They do a good job of making sure the quality of parts is as good as they can. Good CS, but can be pricey. Well, I have not pursued NPD in a while. I know years and years ago when I was working on a 69 Camaro, I had bought parts from NPD, and if I remember correctly, I was happy with them. But like I said, it's been a long time, so I'm not afraid to give them a shot again. Let's see. Leonard, I needed a shoot suit, and Summit had it for half the price of Eastwood. Yep, not surprised. Project Heavy Chevy, Metro Rubber is a good one too. Steel, probably the best. So there's 2 comments on steel. Get a bell for that. American Designer Sheet Metal. Never heard of them, Robert. Sorry. Mike Campbell, any suggestions for metal vendors that supply for 66 Fairlane GTA? All I can suggest, look up AMD. And see you, Ricky. Glad you're here. Look up AMD and see if I know they were starting to build stuff for, I think, for Fairlane. So that might be one option. But Autometal Direct. See what they have. David and Cheryl, thank you. You helped us out, so we wanted to do what we can for you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. Robert, yeah, I remember back when Goodmark was buying OE tooling and making good stuff. Yep. That was a while ago. I know I was rebuilding 67 to 72 Chevy trucks for a while, and I was buying Goodmark pieces. And whenever I noticed the transition to where it just became flimsy, now some of the stuff is still good, still made well. The rocker panels, in and outer were still decent, but other pieces were like, what happened to the good stuff? And they were like, oh, you're going to buy it anyway. You know, they were like being nonchalant about it. Like, what, you know, just, you're going to use it. Just go buy it. And I was not real happy with that. So I ended up backing out of trying to buy Goodmark stuff, if at all possible. King Custom, what's up? Now, you were here earlier. I know you were here earlier. Yeah. You're probably out checking out videos, aren't you? Checking out Rudder's videos. Brady, how is the roads out there? Well, when you say out there, if you're talking about Colorado, the roads were clear. You know, I was out there this past weekend. All the roads were clear, except, you know, I mean, it was easy, nothing, no issues. So, of course, it was all like interstates and highways, but they do a good job. Now, I did see a lot of snow piled up on the sides where they had plowed it off, you know, but when I was there, roads were good. Project Heavy Chevy, AMD has stuff for Fairlane. I used all their metal on my 69 Nova. Yep. AMD, I'm telling you, I've said it before. In fact, I follow them on Instagram, and they just started making their own hood for the square body Chevys trucks. And I commented on them, and I was like, I anticipate this being, you know, the best you can get because you don't make junk, you know. And they were actually pretty happy about that response. But, you know, they follow me on Instagram too. But, I mean, I expect nothing but quality from them. So, haven't been disappointed so far, but I haven't dealt with them in quite some time. I know that, you know, they've gone out of their way to try to make the best products they can. And, yep, you have that hood. Is it like they said? Is it really good? Because I mean, I've heard good things about that hood on that square body, and I hope it is. Yep. That's why I said I wish they would make stuff for the Mustangs, because I know All these things we deal with on these cars where the quarters don't fit and the fenders don't fit and the blah, 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 on and on and on. AMD, I've communicated with them a little bit, and they said they don't want to get into that market because it's flooded. And for them to make the tooling, sell a product, they're going to have to charge a lot more money than what a lot of people are willing to pay. And I hate to say that, but you look at all of the panels that are being produced for these Mustangs, and they're cheap. I mean, relatively cheap. But you go to that, you look for that same panel, or you look for a quality panel, like for the a Camaro or something from AMD. I can't quote exactly, I don't remember, but you're looking, $300, $400 for a full quarter. But the difference is, you take that full quarter and you go, oh, look, I'm done. I just welded on for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a little tweaking here and there. But it's not like doing, this Mustang stuff where you're spending days, adjusting something to make it fit the car. I think people would be happy to spend the money knowing that in the end they could just bolt it right on the car or weld it on the car and be done with it. Okay, solid heavy metal and fits great. Have the hood on my Nova as well. Yeah. Yep. Robert Adams, the Mustang sheet metal is so thin that you have to treat the car with kid gloves. Yeah. Jorg. Hi, Jorg. I hope I'm saying that right. Jorg. Jorg Rydell? Rydell? I know that's not an American name. Yeah, Robert, a fender for a B-body Chrysler is around $700. Not sure how they fit though. Robert, I would put big money on that fender fitting with very little adjustment. I really would. I know those guys. I mean, I know the kind of stuff they put out, and like I said, they're not gonna invest heavily in a Mustang market that's flooded. It's just they just can't make it competitive. Leonard, I found Noram is making some sheet metal for Torino, and now if I can get the latch pillar seals, I'll be happy. Yeah, that's the thing too, is there's and I hate to say Torino is a niche market, but in a way it is, because you either love Torinos or you hate Torinos. It doesn't seem like there's a gray area. Mustangs, everybody can kind of get on board with at least some generation of the Mustang, and even some of the Torinos. I like the older version of the Torino, the small, kind of sportier looking one, versus the bigger, heavier one. That's just me. It's just, but that's how the market went. Like the Mustangs, 72, 71, 72, 73, just got big and bulky looking versus the previous generations. And that's kind of how the Torino is, or the Cyclone, those cars. There's kind of a niche market for those. Now, I've mentioned this before. You find people that love those cars, they have a hard time finding parts and pieces, just like Leonard's saying. They don't make the panels because there's not thousands or hundreds of thousands of them like these Mustangs out there to eat those parts up and, make some money on them. So that's the difficulty with those sort of things. Robert, hope to find a Chrysler muscle car for my next project, but just dreading the parts cost for them. Yeah, I know. I've considered. I mentioned before I had a '67 Plymouth Belvedere, and I love that car. I love the looks of it. It's just a big brick, busting through the wind. But I like the looks of it, and I doubt I'll ever have one. But occasionally I look for one just because. But I occasionally come across a Cuda or a Challenger, and yeah, you can find one. It's basically has a dash and a VIN number, but you got to spend some money to get all those pieces and parts, and it adds up pretty quick. It really does. Let's see. BK, I would have been happy if anyone made outer panels for my Comet Cyclone. Nothing is available. Such a pain. Had to find good use steel and some 50-year-old NOS stuff. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But again, it's the group of people that love those cars, unless they're willing to spend $1,000 for a quarter panel, the companies they're not going to invest in it. They can pump out poorly fitting Mustang quarter panels for $50 versus a semi good fitting quarter panel for a Cyclone or Fairlane. So, but it's unfortunate. Yeah, early Mopars are a niche market. You are 100% correct on that. And I know early, I have a friend who is into the 64 Plymouths. And the only reason he's into those is because Richard Petty raced a 64 Plymouth. This guy has every version of 64 Plymouth that they made. Every version. So he's got, a 2-door coupe, a 4-door hardtop, a 4-door sedan, station wagon, convertible, whatever model they had in 64, he's got one, at least one of each. I think he's got 70 of those cars, and he builds them. I mean, it's just what he does. He doesn't sell them. He builds them. Well, he does sell them. I'll take that back. But he doesn't sell the ones that he's built. He may sell off pieces and parts of the other ones. He's got in his basement, he's got a huge shop. I mean, his shop is like 4 times the size of my shop, and he's got a full basement underneath it. And I know he's got like 12 or 15 cars down there, and he's got like 35 440 engines stacked up, all this crazy Mopar stuff. But he has every version of the car made, and he recently finished up a station wagon. It's a pretty cool car, as far as station wagons go. But he takes it on cruising the coast, drives it up and down on a cruising the coast, and it's clean. It's a nice looking car. But he's got, like I said, he's got convertibles and all kinds of variations. And again, like you say, niche. It's not a big, huge group of people that get into that stuff. Leonard, there's 2 68 Roadrunners in Daggett that have been sitting there for years. Yeah, and that's a cool car. 68 Roadrunner, that's a cool car. 68, 69, 70. And then the another one was the Super Bee. That was a cool car. That funky hood that dropped down in the center, had the oval headlight deals. That was a pretty cool looking car. For me, the Mopars kind of lost it in, again, 73. I think when they went to the crazy looking Charger. I think it was 73. They had a Charger with a real long nose and then the weird back cut glass. Not a fan. Just not my style. But they also had the what was it, Plymouth, the Satellite Sebring. My brother had one. He had one of those that he turned into a race car, Satellite Sebring Plus. And had he known what those would be worth, and they're worth some money today, he probably wouldn't have cut it up and turned it into a race car. But it had a big block in it, of course, bucket seats, floor shift, all the cool stuff everybody wants. But it got all cut up. Robert Adams, I kicked myself for not buying a 1960 Chrysler Crossfire intake at a spot meet years ago. Yeah. Yeah, that's an oddball thing, I mean, you open the hood and you got this crazy looking intake manifold, but people want them. They'll spend the money on them. Okay, 71 is a year. Well, I was close. I'll give you a bell for that, Leonard. I couldn't remember exactly, but that long nose, yeah. And I know they did it for NASCAR. I think is why they did that. I'm pretty confident. But I'm just not a fan. I don't like the way the long nose and then, like I said, the quarter glass kind of cut back at a weird angle. Eh, bleh, not my thing. Um, but I do like I've said it before, I like all kinds of cars. Growing up in a junkyard, surrounded by all kinds of neat stuff. Ramblers and Javelins and Mustangs and the only thing I don't think I remember ever seeing at my dad's junkyard was a Camaro though. Never. I don't know why. Never saw any of the first generation. I don't remember ever seeing any of this, and none of them. I think up until my brother took it over, and there might have been a couple like of the third generation. The ones that weren't really looking like Camaros, like the IROC Z style. 85. I think we had a couple show up after that. Sometime in a whatever, but first generation stuff, never saw any. In fact, the only Mustangs we had at the junkyard was a 70 Mach 1, my dad's 69 Mach 1, a 69 Coupe that my sister drove, a 70 Coupe, and I think that was it. We didn't have any of the early Mustangs. I know that. We had lots of Falcons, though. Had Falcons, Fairlanes, Torinos, had a Cyclone, Mercury Cyclone, and all kinds of Mopar products, and just random stuff. But Robert had a friend with a Satellite, and it was not the easiest car to drive. Long hood, had no idea where the front of the car is, like some of the '70s Camaros. Yeah, that's true. I mean, and they were going, for different things. I know that you look at like the Superbirds, they were built, for NASCAR. That's all they were. They weren't meant to be production cars. But the concept kind of carried over into the other cars in that time period. Even the Javelin and the AMX were kind of like that. They had a long nose, short rear quarters. Early 70s Camaro, the best. Yeah, 70 and a half, 71. I think, yeah, 72. I liked it with the early grill, the oval opening. I really liked that Camaro with the bumperettes. And then I forget what year they changed the back glass because it was sloped and then it kind of wrapped around. I forget what year that was, 70. I don't remember. But that's when when they all had rubber noses on them. I kind of not a fan of the rubber nose stuff. I like the 70 and a half, 71. Where it still had chrome bumpers on it. That's the cool ones. So yeah, 70 split bumper. Yeah, I'd take one of those. And I don't know for sure what year. Double R. If you go to Double R Restoration, RR, 2 R's. Russ is the owner of that channel. He's doing some really over the top stuff on Camaros, and I mean, you think I'm detailed and anal about stuff? Russ is the guy. He researches like the rubber seals on the doors where the wiring goes, and this seal, what's wrong with this one versus this one and why, and this one had this series, whatever. Super detailed, super nice guy. So I'll give a shout out to Russ, Double R Restoration. If you haven't seen his channel, go check him out. He's got some cool stuff on there. Let's see. Leonard, I had a chance to buy a 74 Charger with a 446 pack, but that was back in the summer of 74 and gas embargo was on. Yep. And that's the really sad part about it. There were people who gave up lots of cool cars because they couldn't afford to put gas in them. or there was no gas available. So a lot of those cars ended up being scrapped, passed away, or parked and forgotten. But in some cases, those have become the barn finds of today, where somebody just happens to stumble across. What did I see the other day? Somebody had shown pictures of I think it was a '69. It was a '69 Mach 1, been sitting in a shed. It was on a Facebook page, and the guy said it's been sitting in that shed for like 45 years. And it was a green. It was a green Mach 1, and it was just sitting in there. All kinds of stuff piled over it because they had parked it for whatever reason. And he said it's not for sale, which that is. Donnie, if you were forced to choose, would you come down on the side of pure restoration or more resto mod? Good question, Donnie, and a tough one to answer. And the reason I say it's a tough one to answer because it depends on the car, and I hope that makes sense. I have no problem with resto modding, whatever. But if it's a unique car, I would have a hard time doing something, different to it. So let's say, as an example, I have my grandfather's 31 Model A that I restored. The only thing I did to it was convert it to 12 volt so that it was more drivable. And I changed the color on it, which paint can be changed at any time. People make a big fuss about it. It's just a paint job. You can repaint something to whatever color. But that car, I've kept it as original as I could because it was my grandfather's. However, if somebody were to bring me a 1931 Model A that somebody had already cut up and had it on a custom chassis or something like that, I'd go crazy with it, make a super hot rod out of it. I wouldn't restore it. So that's just one example. Now, if it was a '69 Mach 1, which I would like to have, and it was all, pretty much original as it was, I would probably want to keep it that way. But if it was a '69 Sport Roof that somebody had already, had cut up and half the parts were gone, I'd customize that thing and build a road racer out of it or something. I would have no issue with that. So it depends on the car. Graveyard Cars, Tool Show, cool show. Yeah. I haven't watched them very much, but what I have seen, I'm pretty happy with. Douglas Ryan, you ever seen a '72 Cougar XR7? I think I have. But I can't say 100% for sure. But I think I have. Mark, 68 GTX was the first car I had, and had in restoration with 446 pack. That was in the early 80s. The person still has the car and driving. That's cool. That's cool. 446 pack. That's just so cool to sound. Even just to say that and know what that means. This car had a 446 pack with the pistol grip 4-speed and all that cool stuff. It's just fun to say that. Donnie, I've tried to watch Graveyard Cars, but Mark Warman is such an egomaniac and just plain weird. Yeah, like I said, I've seen a little bit of it. I don't really watch many shows, because I know it's 99% smoke and mirrors. They put on some drama and whatever. Dave Conville, did somebody say Model A? Yeah, I brought that up. Yep. I don't know if you've seen it or not. I have 2 videos, or probably 3 videos, on my grandfather's Model A that I restored, 13 years ago. And it's sitting in my garage, house garage. So if you haven't seen those, go check them out. Can't find them, grind them. Well, I'm not sure what you're referring to, Doug, but I'm guessing you're referring to spot welds. But yeah, Dave, if you haven't seen my Model A stuff, go check it out. Um, that was a labor of love on that thing. 31 two-door sedan, two-door. Leonard, the 70 Cougar Eliminator, had the Boss 302. Yep. Yep. Another cool expression, right? Boss 302. You know, it's like the Z28 Camaro or whatever. It's all kinds of cool catchphrases they had put on these cars back in that time period. Yeah, Dave, I have, well, you can see the story. You know, I have 2 videos in the series of the Model A. I think it was back in, I don't know when I published the videos, but I made 2 videos, or one long video. And basically I restored the car for my grandfather. And to give him one last ride in it was honestly the reason. So if you go back, you'll see that when I was making these videos, I was kind of doing it for myself. It's really the first video series that I did in a way that was kind of like instructional to me, because, you know, I could take apart just about any, I say modern car, any car in the build, you know, 50s, 60s, 70s, without hesitation. But, you know, you go back to the 20s and 30s, they did things different. I mean, really different. So when I was making those videos, I was kind of talking to myself and saying, okay, this is where this pin went, and this is where how this bearing came off, and this is, you know, and I was doing it in a way that I could go backwards if I needed to put the car back together. So in that process, I made the videos, and start with day one. I think it was January of 2006, I think January 1st. And I finished the car in August of 07, I think is the timeline. But piece by piece, start with the car, coming in the shop, taking it apart, everything back together. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Doug. Can't find them, grind them. Now I get it. You get a bell for that. I'm sorry. My mind was thinking body work, you know, finding spot welds. You can't find a spot weld, just keep grinding until it shows up. So, yeah. Yeah, exactly. I had that brings up a interesting thing. I think I've talked about it before. I had a 72 Chevy truck in high school, and it was a V8 3-speed manual that I converted to a 4-speed. But at the time, I didn't have a good 4-speed to put in the truck, or a reasonable one out of that generation of trucks. So I found a 4-speed in, I think it was either 50, 55, 6 or 7 Chevy truck, and at that time that was a non-synchronized transmission. So that was fun to drive. You know, at 17, out there grinding gears, getting it done, and having fun with that. But yeah, that was the truck I drove all through high school, and that one's long gone. Long gone. Anyway, you know, I've got some other. I have so many other junkyard things that I need to talk about at some point, but I'm not gonna get into that tonight. But I was thinking about it as a future broadcast or whatever, a live stream. There's so many junkyard stories. It's just unbelievable, and hard to imagine some of the stuff that we did or that we survived all that. Let's see, Dave. I am sure the videos will be helpful. Mine is up on our history, ready to go. Rear quarters, pan, tailpiece, just got new subframe, floor in. Okay. Yeah. Well, Dave, mine is, I kept it original. So, you know, originally those cars came with plywood floors. So I put back in plywood floors in the Model A. Let's see. Donnie, drama or lack thereof is precisely the reason I enjoy the Joey Daddy's Garage. Yep. And Iron Resurrect. Yeah, Bitch and Raj and Iron Resurrect. Yeah. You know, you're not going to really find any drama here because it's just me. And I don't have anybody to yell at. Although I have tried to do some split screen stuff and I've done some experimental video stuff. I've tried to, I don't know, probably not going to work out very well. I may do it. I may experiment with that some more at some point in the future. I could have, the guy that kind of knows what he's doing and the guy that doesn't know what he's doing and arguing with him. I don't know. That's how those shows operate. Leonard, someone in Oregon has Cleveland 4V heads that they shipped here from Australia, and Ford should have built the 302 Cleveland and put them in the Mustang sold here. Yeah. Yep. That would be interesting. Heath, junkyard's candy store to me. Yeah, you would have loved the junkyard we had. 10 acres of land, 1,000 cars. We had all kinds of crazy stuff. All kinds. And I'll talk about that one of the nights. Some of the stuff we built and just ridiculous things that we did. But I am seeing that I've been at this for 2 hours and 6 minutes. I'm not hungry or anything, but it's probably time for me to go. I need to get in the house and do house things. Let's see. Robert, a friend of mine, had a 29 Model A truck. I visited him for a week in Utah, and we got it running enough to run up and down the street and backfire and annoy the neighbors. Yeah. I have had that backfire, that occasional backfire on mine, and that'll turn some heads. That's for sure. Dave, yes, subframe is a replacement. Original. The very front floorboards and rear. Yeah. Yeah, and I actually replaced the whole rear section underneath the back seat in that sedan. They sell that as a Mike's Affordable is where I got all my stuff from. They sell that panel that is a drop-in. So if you haven't researched that yet. I also, hey Dave, glad you're here. I also got the all the wood stuff from Mike's Affordable, all the overhead. You'll see it. There's all kinds of information on that Model A that's out there. Leonard, auto wrecking yards here ain't worth going to. Yeah, most of them aren't anymore. They're just modern stuff that gets torn apart and processed out and scrapped. Donnie Roebuck, drama with yourself smacks of insanity, Barry. Just saying. Yeah. Yeah, it would be. You're welcome, Russ. Okay. Yeah, mine's a sedan. Yeah. Well, a lot of it crosses over, though. Yeah, Mike's is a great resource. Yes. Donnie, I was telling my wife and kids the other day if it was normal. Because, like I said before, I'm sitting here looking at my laptop, talking to a little camera, and sometimes I'll be driving somewhere and having a conversation with somebody else that's not in my car because I kind of bounce ideas off, and I'm the only one that's listening. And I was kind of making a joke about it because I was driving and I had a idea for like a podcast. And so I was doing 3 parts to a podcast. I was the host and the other 2 characters in the podcast. So it was getting interesting. I'm driving home and I'm asking questions to my characters and I'm answering those questions. And then I'm laughing at the answers that my characters are giving. So I'm not sure if that's considered crazy or not. But we all had a good time. We all 3 had a good time. Okay, let's see. Dave, hey Barry, what is the fascination with Mustangs with you? Dave, honestly, I don't know. I can't say that Mustangs are my only fascination. I love all the cars. We've talked about this before. Mustangs and Camaros and Studebakers and Ramblers, whatever. I just like cars. Um, but my dad had a '69 Mach 1, and I think that's uh, always held on to me. That I'd love to have a '69 Mach 1. Yeah. Um, yeah, you're welcome, Heath. Thank you for being here. Thanks, Dave and Cheryl. You get another bell ring. Uh, yeah, I'm in a time warp. Yeah, it feels like it sometimes. All right. With that, I'm going to call it a night. And I appreciate all of you being here and watching. And if you come in later, throw a thumbs up on the video. Appreciate that. That helps again with the whole YouTube thing and how they promote the video or whatever and blah blah blah. However that works. So I'll be back next week, and there will be another Viewers Project video coming out on Sunday. I can't remember the name of that one at the moment. And I'm still trying to put together a repair video for this week. It's been kind of I had a plan, with that steering column, and the gasket thing's kind of throwing me off. So anyway, I'll come up with something. So I'll make a video one way or another. And until next week,